The objective of this challenge press job is to form crash boxes. The equipment used includes a press, a cart, and a vision system. The tools used include a spray bottle with water-soluble oil and an air gun. The materials used include crash boxes, a pallet, and a box with parts. The work environment is an inside work environment with heat and no air conditioning. The personal protective equipment includes safety glasses, floor mats, hearing protection, and gloves. The workers observed were 5 feet 11 and 5 feet 9 inches tall. The work methods for the observed challenge press job include 2 workers. Worker 1 begins by getting the crash box from press position 5, rotating the crash box lengthwise, and placing on the shelf for worker 2. Then they will get the crash box from press position 4 and place it in press position 3. Next, they will get the crash box from press position 3, rotate the crash box, and position it in press position 2. Worker 1 then gets the crash box from press position 2 and positions it in press position 3. Then they get the crash box from press position 1 and position it in press position 1. Worker 1 then gets the crash box from the cart. Next, they will position the crash box in press position 1. Finally, Worker 1 activates the palm buttons. Worker 2's tasks begin with pressing the green release button. Worker 2 then gets the crash box from press position 9 and walks to the vision system. Then they get the crash box from the vision system, rotate the crash box, and place the inspected crash box in the cart. They then place the crash box from press position 9 in the vision system. Worker 2 will then press the vision system activation button. Next, they get the crash box from press position 8, rotate the crash box, and position it in press position 9. Then they get the crash box from press position 7, rotate the crash box, and position it in press position 8. Worker 2 then gets the crash box from press position 6 and positions it in press position 7. Then they get the crash box from the shelf and position it in press position 6. Workers then press the green activation button. Lastly, Worker 2 activates the palm buttons. Some irregular tasks included removing cardboard dividers between layers of crash boxes in carts, spraying crash boxes with water-soluble oil, and using the air gun to remove particles from rails. There were several ergonomic risk factors observed for the challenge press job. Repeated and sustained exertions were rated as a medium-high pace. Hands were in constant steady motion and exertion to get and position crash boxes within the press. Sustained exertions were observed and included continuous standing and continuous elevated arms to press the palm buttons. Forceful exertions were required to get and position crash boxes. They were also required to spray rails with the water-soluble oil. Additionally, forceful exertions were required to use the air gun to remove particles. Awkward postures were observed and include torsoflexion or forward bending, and torso-lateral bending or sideways bending, forearm pronation, and extended reach to get the crash box from the lower levels of the pallet. Neck and torso lateral bending, forearm pronation, and wrist extension or backwards bending to position the crash box in the press. Elevated arms to spray oil on the parts and press the palm buttons. Torso lateral bending to use the air hose. Torso flexion and lateral bending to position the crash box in packing boxes on the pallet and to adjust the pallet. The mechanical or localized contact stress observed was contact stress between the hands and edges of the crash box. It's important to note that gloves are worn. The recommendations for the challenge press job include Consider using automatic oil sprayers positioned in the press to decrease awkward postures and forceful exertions. Investigate the elimination of oil sprayers if it is not required to decrease awkward postures and forceful exertions. Investigate alternate placement of palm buttons coupled with other machine guarding mechanisms, i.e. light curtains, to decrease posture stress associated with activating the press. Encourage workers to keep hands and arms close to the body during wait time, instead of waiting for their partner with their arms elevated on the palm button to decrease posture stress. Consider using a rubber mallet to position the crash box in the press instead of the palm to decrease localized contact stress. Investigate the use of press ejectors to push the crash box toward the worker to decrease posture stress. Investigate using longer guides in the press to decrease posture stress associated with positioning the crash box. Review press maintenance protocols to make sure parts can be inserted and removed from the press without excessive force.